Weather keeping you inside? Then learn how to play the card game called Queen of Spades or Dame de Pique. The object of the game is to collect the most points over the course of the play session. Setting up. Before you begin, you need to set a points goal. Sometimes we resume previously started sessions. Here we chose 3,000 points, which can take roughly 1 to 3 hours. You'll need 2 decks of cards. You'll need 3 decks of cards for 4 to 7 players, 4 decks for 8 or more players. Scale is necessary. Shuffle the decks together. Players will take turns dealing each hand. Deal 13 cards per player and leave 1 to begin the discard pile. How to play. When dealing, a 100-point bonus can be awarded if the person correctly estimates the total number of cards. For example, if you have 2 players, then a total of 27 cards would award you the bonus. 13 cards per player, and the initial discard card. Organize your hand to find any triplets, jokers, and anything else that can be sorted or played on your next turn. The person to the right of the dealer goes first. When it's your turn, pick up either a single card from the deck or the entire discard pile. You earn points by making groups of 3 or more cards of the same kind or using a single 2 as a wild card and setting them down in your play area. You may only put down cards in your play area when it is your turn. There are a few rules for picking up from the discard pile. You must have 2 other cards of the same kind of the top card in your hand, and you must pick up all the cards in the pile. You cannot pick up the discard pile with only 1 card and a wild card. And finally, if the first card in the discard pile is a 2 or a joker, you cannot pick it up until there is a card on top of it that matches 2 cards in your hand. As you continue to pick up cards, add them to the corresponding groups in your play area. You may use a 2, which are always wild, to complete a trio. The 2 will become worth the point value of the cards they are paired with. Once you have exhausted all the options in your hand, discard a card to end your turn. The hand ends when one player plays all of their cards in their hands. The rest of the players must count up the remaining cards in their hands and pay that difference against the point values in their play area. If they don't have enough to cover it, they must deduct that amount from their overall point total on the scorecard. Point values. As the name suggests, the Queen of Spades is the most lucrative card. They are worth 100 points on their own, but only count with 2 other queens of any kind, or a queen and a 2. Jokers are the only card that can be put down by itself. They do not need to be in a set. They are worth 50 points apiece. Aces are worth 20 points each. Face cards and 10s are worth 10 points each. All other number cards except 2 and 10 are worth 5 points each. And finally, 2s are wild. They assume the point value of which they're added. And no, you cannot use 2 2s to make a trio. Optional house rules. Since we play with 2 decks, if someone is lucky enough to get both Queens of Spades in their hand, and they use a 2 to make a trio, then you may permit them to count that 2 as another 100 points since it's so rare. This has to be the first of the trio to be put down and cannot be added after queens have already been put down. When dealing, if the card that lands face up in the discard pile is a King of Spades, then the dealer also gets 100 bonus points. And that's how you play Queen of Spades or Dame de Pique.